Hi guys, this is Creative Cuts, a channel where I build, paint and create things. Now I've been snowed under with commissions and working on several other projects at the same time. All this around working a full-time job. So, the last thing I needed was another time-consuming project. Now I can't remember what sparked the idea, but I woke up one morning with the urge to paint some miniatures. Maybe finish off a handful of models needed to complete my extensive Necron army would be an obvious choice. Or paint up my scratch-built Possessed for my massive Chaos Space Marine army. Nope. For some reason, my inner creator decided what my already tight schedule needed was a new 40k army. And not just any 40k army, but probably the most labour-intensive and expensive army out there, as well as the army with possibly the most creative potential. Orcs! Now this video isn't really a painting tutorial, but almost more of a diary piece which covers some of the decision-making process and my thinking behind creating an army. So I jumped onto the Games Workshop website and had a good look through the range for somewhere to get started. The obvious place to get started for orcs would be some boys to get me going. Now I love some of the sculpts throughout the range, but if I'm honest, I also think that some of the models look a bit squashed and kinda goofy looking. And lastly, the thing that tipped me over the edge was that some of the range was out of stock. I didn't want my creativity to be hamstrung by a lack of stock, so I started looking online for some alternate options. I found some great ranges on My Mini Factory, which seemed to encapsulate my inner vision of what my orcs should look like. I wanted big, angry-looking, snarling orcs that would be visually intimidating rather than the slightly comedic fun options. I'm by no means a competitive player and really just play the odd game here and there with my friends, so the idea of using alternative models didn't bother me. Now I want to make it clear that I do not in any way promote copyright infringement, as this army would be a purely creative project for myself. I made peace with the fact that I was using non-GW models, and I decided to buy a few STLs and run a few test prints. I put a few of these together and instantly breathed a huge sigh of relief, as I could fully customize, pose and gear up my orcs any way I wanted. I was back in creative control of my project. Now there were plenty of videos on YouTube about painting an entire army in 24 hours or speed painting tutorials, and whilst these approaches can work great and can be a great time saver, I'm in no rush and see this as a bit of an ongoing project. Something to keep me busy in the evenings. I guess my approach to any army building project is, if I'm going to invest all this time, then I want it to be the best it can be. Time is not really a factor. So, I primed up a few models with my airbrush. I used a piece of scrap wood with a strip of double-sided tape to batch prime multiple models at once. After a thin coat of black, I sprayed some white from above, creating a zenithal highlight. This immediately establishes some highlights and shadows, and allows you to really see all the details on the models. I also had a few different painting approaches in mind, which I wanted to test out. So, painting up a few test models can be a great way to finalise any ideas about an army before fully committing to painting hundreds of models. So I set about painting a few models in several different ways. These were using a coloured shadow, an approach that was somewhat new to me, but from a colour theory point of view, makes a lot of sense. The standard heavy metal approach, sort of block colours, wash, and highlight, and a sort of variation of the slap chop approach. Inks instead of contrast paints, but essentially a similar technique. For the coloured shadow approach, I sprayed a deep red from the underside of the model, which would hopefully breathe a bit of life into the shadow areas of the model. Using a complementary colour to the main colour you're using as a shadow can be a fantastic way to inject some life into the model. In this case, green being the predominant skin colour, red is the opposite colour on the colour wheel, or the complementary colour to green, making it the perfect option for shadows. I then came in from above with a dark camo green from Monument Hobbies to act as a mid-tone for the orcs. And while I had the green in the airbrush, I also zapped the model with this green, acting like a block colour, i.e. no fancy shadow. And lastly, I used some green ink as a kind of speed paint, using the zenithal highlight I had established in the previous step to give me some highlights and shadows. I then loaded up my airbrush with some bright yellow green, again from Monument Hobbies, and sprayed this from above to re-establish the highlights from the first two options. I then went around all three models, working on the skin tones, adding specific highlights using a brush to be more targeted in my application. And at this stage everything was going pretty well, but feeling a little too green. So I moved over to painting in some of the rest of the details of the models. I had a couple of colour schemes in mind and was still on the fence as to which orc clan I would go for. The angry sculpting of the models swayed me to go with the Goths, as this seemed a natural fit. I continued to add in some of the other details, trousers, boots, axes, etc. Nothing fancy here, just using straightforward colours and jumping back and forth between the skin tones as I progressed. Although I wanted the army to be the best it can be, painting potentially 200 plus models to my highest ability would take years. So I settled on a happy medium that was highly effective and yet didn't bog me down painting a million tiny scratches on a leather belt. What I did find, however, was that an army of orcs are really fun to paint, as each model is slightly different. It makes a change from painting endless Necron warriors, each basically being the same. I used a bit of candy paint to give the fleshy parts around the mouth a bit of depth. And this is the first time I've used candy paints like this, but I think the effect is great and all the more reason to paint up some test models to try these ideas out. And once my base layers were mostly blocked in and I stopped myself from getting too focused on ever more highlights, I was really happy with the direction my orcs were going. And with 3 models painted up to this stage, it was time to do a bit of reflecting and assess where I was at with everything. Now I had downloaded STLs from a few different sources and quickly decided that I liked the posing and design of the range by Mr. Modulorc the best. The faces on the other ranges looked a bit too cartoony for my taste, and some of the posing just didn't quite feel right. I also decided that the heavy metal approach, whilst effective, just felt a bit flat. The slap chop variation was closer to what I wanted, but I didn't really like the tone of green I used. It felt a bit too artificial, if that makes sense. But I absolutely loved the variation in skin tone and depth of colour in my fancy shadow option. The muscles on the skin felt like they had much more volume than the other options. Nice! With some decisions made, I launched into this project with a bit more gusto and printed out more models and painted these to the same point. For me, I wanted my orc army to be more on the grim dark side of things, and the best way to achieve this is with some oil washes. Now, I know this may seem complicated, but in truth, it's one of the simplest and most effective way to get a great amount of detail into your models. Just get some thinner, in this case white spirit, and some dark brown oil paint, and mix up a semi-opaque wash and paint this all over your model. Now this may seem a bit scary at first, as you're going over all your painstaking hard work previously. But the beauty of using oil washes is that you can really control how transparent your wash is by adding more or less thinner. Another effect of oil washes is that the thinner, again in this case white spirit, dries to a very matte finish, meaning you get a lovely non-reflective finish, which I really love. You completely cover the model with the wash, wait a little while for the paint to dry a little bit, and then use a cotton bud or similar soaked in a little thinner to selectively remove most of the wash, leaving the wash only in the crevices and staining the colour beneath it a little. This is known as the reductive method and works fantastically with oil and enamel washes. Using a single wash colour over the whole model also acts as a subtle filter, bringing all the colours together under the same unifying banner. I then wanted to think about my bases for the army. Now, I had some crackle paint from AK and thought this might be an effective solution across the army. I painted this over a few bases and hoped for the best. Once everything was fully dried, I loved the dull down effect of the oil wash, but wasn't overjoyed by my basing choice. The cracks were there, but I didn't really get the effect that I was after. Oh well, not to worry. This is the point of doing a few test models first, to get all the details worked out before committing to a full army. But these are problems I can deal with later. And whilst I loved the dull down matte effect from the oil wash, I also wanted to come back in and selectively push some of the highlights and add a bit of pop to the army. So, using the same colours as before, dark camo green, bright yellow green, and also the addition of a little pale yellow, I slowly worked up the highlights until I was happy. This allowed me to really pick out and define the muscles. I also came in with some silver to lift all the metal work and add some scratches and scuffs. Now this may feel like a really time-consuming process, but as each highlight gets progressively lighter, the area on the model becomes less with each pass until my brightest colour is really only a dot here and there. So in reality this process goes far quicker than you might imagine. I decided for now that I would sprinkle a bit of dried soil from the garden on my bases. I can always finalise my basing further down the line, but for now this will do. And all that was left to do was black rim the bases, and my test models for my new army were complete. Sure, these are never going to win any painting awards, but for me they're a happy medium between effort and patience levels. The thought of a whole army painted like this, fully customised and unique and personal to me, gets me very excited and has me daydreaming about scratch building orc trucks and terrain all day long. So, thank you for joining me on this experiment, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I see this army as an ongoing project for the channel, and it would be great if we could make some of the decisions together as a community. If you would like to stay up to date with future episodes in this series, then you can subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest videos. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed the video, and let me know if you have any ideas about how to best continue with this mammoth project. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for future updates. Enjoy.